Hello everyone, this is Łukasz Gandecki from Zolovio, and uh, in preparation of getting a chimp added to the example from Apollo, um, I've decided to first do a migration from JavaScript to TypeScript. So I actually started recording a video of how to migrate uh, vanilla Apollo GraphQL server to Chimp. Uh, but then I realized that almost like half of the video was turning the application first to TypeScript, and that didn't really leave in a very clear way what changes are actually part of the that are necessary for Chimp, or that Chimp is bringing to you, and what parts are just this TypeScript conversion. For Chimp to make sense, you do want to have your code in TypeScript. Um, so I wish this example was done in TypeScript to start with, then it'll be much nicer comparison. But it's not. So what I will try to uh, not change it too much. I might reorganize things a little bit, but I want to keep things as similar to what they are now, but with TypeScript, and then um, in the next video, I will use that repository as a starting point, and I will add Chimp to it. So let's start here. One of the things that I would do in a new project, or when I want to make a project a little easier to maintain by me, is to add prettier. And I played around um, with some options for prettier to just select something that will make as few changes to the existing code base as possible, but but basically pick one coding style and then enforce that style moving forward. And me personally, it helps when I don't have to think about styling the code. I just have a keyboard shortcut, and that formats it to the same way every single time. Just one thing less for me to think about. So let's install prettier with TypeScript, and we'll also be using tsjest to be able to run types with jest with TypeScript. Now we'll create a tsconfig JSON. So if this is actually a step that Chimp would do for you if you did the initialization. This is straight from what Chimp would generate for you. But since yeah, so we want to, as I said, make this repository TypeScript based, but not Chimp based yet. But I will use a TypeScript config basically that will be compatible with this code base, and later on it will be used without any changes for Chimp. So another thing that we will do here, and again, this is something that the Chimp initialization would do for you, would be to create the jest config. And again, this is just a copy paste. And then the last piece here that we need is the prettier RC. Again, this is I think it's like that. Yeah. This is based on a few tests. I tried to like change it from single quote to double quote, trailing comma yes, no, arrow parents. None of those rules were consistently applied across this code base, but these three allowed me for the minimal amount of initial changes. So now if I do now if I run something like this, so basically I want to reformat the whole code base. There will not be actually that many changes. So let's take that starting point. For sanity, we can start the application. Yeah, well, one thing here that's weird is that it says studio Apollo GraphQL call, like we want this to run on the local host. I mean, it runs on the local host, but it links to the wrong. It just uses the wrong URL. All right, so, and it has to be HTTP. See what kind of a query we can do here. We can do launches. Let's see, launches. Let's take a look at the schema here. So we can, I just want to find the, okay, so launch connection it gives me. And launch connection has more launches, launch. Okay, so I basically do, again, launches here, and then here I can do site. So this will be pretty large. Okay, yeah, so I mean, we didn't change anything yet, but good to start with a working code, so we know moving forward that yeah, if things were not working currently and we just tried to run the server in 10 minutes and things broke, it would be hard to say whether that was the changes that I've done here or whether it was broken from the beginning. So yeah, we have a running server. This is the entry point of our application, so we definitely want to change that to TypeScript to start with. And then we are not actually using the environment here. So this is one of the things that are not so easy doable in TypeScript. If I really wanted to use the .env, you know what, let's do that. I said that I'm not gonna change it too much. So what we do here is we will say we can say start yes, and we'll import the like this, and then this one in the index.ts. This is server listen. Let's turn all this into a function that will say we export the server here. Well, I mean, the simplest thing to do would be to just say here require index, and let's start with that, not to change it too much. Here we'll need to we'll do something like start TypeScript ts node, and then we say start TypeScript. Let's see if this still runs. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So we have a simple entry point. I would prefer to import a function that starts the server and then run the function here, but I don't want to change this part so much since we are exporting the server. Okay, so now one thing that I want to change is I want to move the data sources and context to a different place. I don't think this belongs in the index. So let's move this to just gonna a file called context. We'll export the context, we export the data source, we export the store, because all that was actually exported to start with. And then we need is email, need create store, Now we need to import the state, the data sources. We need to import the context. Here we need to get the launch API. So let's just convert all those. And then, yeah, we don't, I'm not sure about re-exporting things from here. Let's just change this and just export them from here. So store. Oh, we already exported over there. Okay, oops. All right. So we can also convert all those things, although it will not make, it will not matter that much. Clean this up a little bit. All right, let's see if this is still working. Nope. Okay, so what do we need to? Oh, okay. So WebStorm actually figure out the aliases from tsconfig and apply that already here. That will not work with tsnode directly unless I use tsconfig paths. Let's see. Okay, right. This. Oh, and for that we need to install tsconfig paths. Let's try to run it again. And then our favorite query. So that checks that the data sources are connected, the resolvers are connected. Great, okay. So that's a nice first step here. But that already probably means that things will, the test will stop working and probably would want to have them actually working. So local resolvers, they all those just import resolvers. This one queries the whole server, which is fine. So we're okay. Let's just try and run tests and see what do we get. We should have actually done this earlier. Okay, just set up. Okay, right, because I added just setup JS, but we don't have the just setup here. I would have the just setup JS for test double, but I can add this later. I don't need this now. So let's see what's going on. Okay, yeah. The integration tests, they need to load. What do you need to load? Utils? Okay, so yeah, we don't, those things are not there anymore. Let's fix those tests then. So if I do that and I can install, we can change this to TypeScript. Let's import these two. Can convert everything else to imports. I'm not sure why WebStorm is adding those lines. That's annoying because then Prettier is actually not removing them. So there is one thing that I have to manually style. Okay, so let's run the test again. Let's see what that made any changes. Maybe. Actually, I can probably just run the whole file here. No, because it since it doesn't have spec or test, WebStorm doesn't know that this is a test. Oh, well, this is not a test. This is actually not a test. This is the actual test. We do export. Oh. Okay. Okay, can we run this specific test? Oh no. Okay, so I was wrong. WebStorm doesn't require you to have spec or. Oh, that's interesting. So now, well, now WebStorm doesn't like the fact that that's TypeScript test. Let's see if. Um. Yeah. Okay. Why? Well, I thought we don't need to install types for jest anymore, but well, let's see. Okay, cool. Um, it does fail on trying to run the utils, but as we verified that actually doesn't have any tests, so that's correct. I hope we didn't have a lot of snapshot tests. So this is a problem. Oh no, that's actually all snapshots. So this is a very problematic test because now we change it from JavaScript to TypeScript. So it basically restarted. We can verify it here manually. All right, so we can remove this one. Let's do the same for the integration now. How do I do? Just to not have a failure, I think I would just do utils. This is ugly, but I don't want to play around with the setup of um, of how just defines what a test, what's a test file here, what's not. Okay, so we get the same situation here. Let's see if I can just compare it like this. Compare with clipboard, identical. So I can remove the JavaScript one. Nice. And then we can keep going with the remaining test files here. So this is TypeScript now. Actually, like that you can do this easily with a command line command to just rename the files. But we don't have that many, so I just rather do it manually than try to find the command or like try to make it manually and then fail and then debug that, and that just took a few seconds. All right, so okay. Yeah, so user email. Okay, because there's no. Well, I'm just gonna do ignore. We can do watch. Oh no, we cannot do watch because we're changing the file name. So I would rather just start it all from scratch. So let's see. Let's keep going here. Interesting. I mean, I've seen this before. That's not too terrible, but that's not a very frequent pattern where you would export something from a file with tests. Because if you try to import this outside of tests, that will fail because describe is not a function. But if you import it from a different test, I think that will possibly run those tests as well. I'm pretty sure it will. So that's why it's kind of weird. You see what I'm saying? Like, if I have a file here, run user tests, right? And then I do import user. And if I now say npx source data sources tests run user tests, right? That run the tests. So like if I now import Mockstore from it, I want to just see what it is, right? And I run the test. It will display it for me, but it also runs the test. So that's a bit weird, but that's a side note. Do we export anything here? No. All right, launch. Let's change this. Okay. That's interesting. Oops. So TypeScript itself has an option now to change to import, and it doesn't add enters. So actually, that's even nicer. I wish there was just an option to say change all requires to import. Why not? Okay, so there's definitely more issues here. And at this point, we had similar issues with launch. No, luckily. Okay, so create a field. Yeah, I guess at this point we'll just do any. Well, is this a TypeScript error? Yeah. What's going on? I don't see that. Okay. That's not going to work. I will once we add Chimp, I will fix the errors. They might not be as trivial now. Actually, in this case, we can say that the store. Well, no, let's. Oh, I will see. Let's try to make it run, and then we'll see if I can assign types. Okay. So store is probably possible. Context is not yet, and this is having the context being typed will be very nice. That's something that Chimp gives you, and that's actually very, very helpful. All right. So first of all, let's run all tests. Nope. Okay. All right. So it's got to get. Oh, I see. Well, Need to ignore that one. And we'll also have to ignore this. Is again, this should be nicer with Chimp. We'll have those things typed. Okay, all tests are passing. So now it would be nice to see if the application is still running. Okay, looks like it is. Engine demo, where is that used? Oh, internal engine demo. Okay. That's easy enough to change to TypeScript. Then we have resolvers. That might not be correct. We'll see in a second. And this one you can leave because we'll be changing this to that GraphQL file anyway. Utils. All right, let's see if the application starts and the test pass with the resolvers changed. Okay, tests are not passing. That's interesting. Let's see what's going on there. Resolvers mission. Okay. I missed that one somehow. Okay, cool. All right, so utils. I've seen this before. I'm not sure what to do about this. It seems that this is working. So I think I just have to, I can Google this quick. So this is a SQLize property date doesn't exist on type. Okay. But that's not actually it. Let's see if we can find types. Okay, so let's see if we can find integer. And I would like this to be whole word and then data types. That actually the example is just like that. Let's try that. Okay, yeah. I don't know if it matters if that database is already there. Yes, we can easily check. So let's first verify that it still starts. Nope. Okay, but that's for a different reason. Oh, so the store users. Wait, what? So does it know that it has to find or create? It does. What is it unhappy about? Can I assign an abstract constructor type to a non-abstract constructor type of model. So is it no matter what function I use? Seems like it's happening before I use a function. But if I just do it like this, it doesn't complain. It does complain. Hmm. Well, where is it getting the type for the store here? Okay, so it is getting it from here. That's okay. So what in the store, if I do users, all right, this is very strange. Sequelize TypeScript. And but we are not using sequelize TypeScript. We're just using sequelize, and that string. We do use so data types. Data, that's other data types. What are the basic data types? So if I do this, because this is undefined. Sequelize. Okay, so that's yeah, this is the DB. And user finder create. Oh, okay, this is clearly some problem with SQLite itself, so I'm not gonna debug this anymore at this point. Unfortunately, because uh, that might make some problems later with Chimp and like if when we want to ring type correctly. Um, but does it understand what users are? No, it says it's any. I'm not sure if it would even understand more. So that's fine. I'll just say ignore. And we can say as let's see. Oops. Date, string. So that basically says that let's do, so weird though. Type of model. Okay, so there wouldn't be any better types there anyway. So we have to repeat the types, unfortunately. User. I'm sure if that's actually going to be exactly that, we'll have to verify that, but okay. Yeah, okay, that's better. So, yeah, that's fine. And then what about the trips? I guess they are not used. Oh, because they are not used in the context. Okay. Let's see if I can run the application. Okay. Get cursor, it thinks it should be a function. Oh, well, yeah. So the item, what's the item here? The results. And, oh, okay, that's generic. So then can we just say, and then, oh, the results is an array of t's. Well, that's interesting. So if I do, can I do something like that? Okay, so we want to have a generic. Okay, that's interesting. Type, because if I just have, well, let's just play around with this a little bit outside of this file. Okay. If I just have if I do a result here instead of here, and then I say t, and I say that that's array of t's, and then the get cursor will expect first like an amount. Okay, yeah. So that works. And then the question is, how do we make this work if we have an object here? I don't generics. I don't think this will work. Oh wait, I cannot. I don't define types here. I only like I okay. So then it would have to be. Oh, let's get rid of this and get rid of this. For now, and I just want to say results t. Okay, and then get cursor is a function of result t, like that, and that works. Okay, cool. Let's put this here. We say t, and we say we have to define all those types, I think. Nope. Okay, well, what's the cursor? We don't know. But that doesn't make sense neither, because it says that should return. Okay, so by default it should return null. But we want null or what? Or cursor. What's the cursor here? Oh, and again, this is where Chimp would come handy. So I guess I will not spend too much time on all that, because we don't have a good way now to figure out those types. Like we can do this manually, but that's exactly what we don't want to do. So I will leave it at that, I think. Um, item. And then we want to have some item with cursor. I'll have a cursor. Type cursor. I don't know what the type that will do this later. So that's just I don't know if that works. Maybe the T extends that. Okay, cool. Okay, now resolvers. All right, so that doesn't. Get cursor doesn't exist. Okay, yeah, because it's optional. Cool. Okay, let's just to be safe, if we just run tsc to verify that the types are correct, let's see what happens there. Let's run tests in the background. There are still some errors. Unfortunately, okay, so this is Node, so this is something that I can change by installing newer types node. And then the remaining ones, that's all in the test user. So I don't care that much about the test here. Resolvers query, that's also in a test. Wait, so the launches, aren't those optional? So this is not, let's see, schema, launch. No, those are not. No, those are optional. So well, again, I'm just gonna leave the test times for now. If yeah, I would much rather have Chimp here generate the types for me, and I will just make things match. No, so test passed. So here I want to check the TSC. And if that's just type tests currently, yeah, that is interesting. That's a global fetch. Why is this? Is there an easy fix for that? 2019, 2017. Fixed 2019. Has this still not been fixed? 2020. Okay, so let's see if this is just fixed by updating some of the dependencies here. Apollo, I think it will be the link. Interestingly, this is only test as well. Should be compatible. Should have probably committed the code before making these changes. Well, oh, interesting. That's actually different. But the tests still work. They do. So again, this is something to ignore. I don't like to ignore things, but like I mean, TypeScript errors. But obviously, it's different when you do this from scratch, and different when you're just adding TypeScript to existing code. That doesn't mean that you should, you know, just leave them and just don't worry about those ignores. But this is one of the cases where it's okay to say, well, I will come back to it later. Otherwise, you can spend a huge amount of time and actually introduce a functional change in your refactor to the code base, just to be able to add the test. So that frequently doesn't make sense. Okay. So I'll I'll say TypeScript master. I'll commit it so you guys can check it out. And the second session, the second part of this video will be adding the chimp, as I said, and I will be starting from this particular point. So if you want to follow yourself or try to add the chimp yourself, this will be the place to start with. So TypeScript added, tests and application working, minor tests, minor types, issues in tests. All right, so that will be it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will come back with the second part in the next few weeks.